PD Proudlock, welcome to the Ads FC show. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very well, thanks.
So this is the first time I'm actually collaborating with another YouTuber that is a Newcastle fan. So this is rare territory for me because where I live in South Africa, we are a very rare breed. I think outside of the UK, Newcastle fans currently are a rare breed, but hopefully that's going to change now that the new ownership is in place, now that the club has more exposure. How do you feel about that? What is your opinion of someone who now becomes a Newcastle fan because, you know, we've got all the money in the world?
Oh, well, it's if they want to support the club, then it's entirely their choice. But yeah, I can see since we got this takeover, I've seen some fans from other countries start to support the club now, and it's really good to see.
It is good to see. Um, you know, I've always kind of criticized maybe Chelsea fans or City fans, or you know, all of a sudden they are supporting these clubs, and I'm like, well, where were you when I was watching Sean Gota play for Manchester City? Where were you when Joey Barton was playing for Manchester City? But you know what, like you say, I suppose if they want to support the club, they're welcome to support the club. And
Yeah.
just to give you a little bit of background about this podcast and how this came about, actually. So South Africa's lockdown was pretty bad, actually. We were not seeing each other. We were not in offices. It was horrible. And I'm sure you've worked in an office, or you know people who have. And one of the best things is actually being able to just chat with your colleagues, chat with your mates about football, and just have those daily chat. It's good for the mental health, and that's why we started doing this, and I continue doing this. So that's the vibe of the chat. Just talk about how you feel as if you were in the office, basically. So yeah, I mean, what what's the big thing that you're hoping for with the takeover? Are you hoping for success now, or how long do you give it?
By the title, like the Premier League, yeah, I would say a few years maybe, or 5 to 10 years, which is what they've said. A cup run would be good, but the main thing is ambition at this football club, new investment, which is needed, not in terms of the squad of getting new players, but in terms of investment in the ground,
Yeah.
where it's been starved of a training ground, which new training facilities are needed as well.
Please tell me
So it's
how bad the facilities are,
no,
because
they're
I've never
so
I've never
bad.
seen it. I mean,
It's
you'd
so
know.
bad. I've seen photos of players doing cool downs in paddling pools and
Wheelbarrows.
wheelie bins as well. And you're thinking, is that it? A Premier League club that gets 52,000 fans week in, week out, and we see players doing training exercising in them. It's been an ups. It's been an absolute joke. And that is all down to the previous ownership under
Yeah,
Mike Ashley, because
yeah,
again, he stopped with the investment, and that's why the club was so badly ran down. Um, there was a lot of toxic between the fan base. The owners didn't communicate with the fans. We just wanted answers on what was going on, and that's why this takeover was so needed badly.
are you
We're getting
part of
communication from the new owners, which is good.
yeah are you part of any fan like community, or any fans trust, or any sort of company
No,
that represents? No.
no.
Okay.
I've just got my own channel, which I do like to do my Newcastle content on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And link in the description for sure. And all
Thank you
that
very much.
jazz. Yeah, no, of course, 100%. Yeah, so just coming back to the state of the training ground, and the investment that needs to be made now. So yeah, the training ground, I believe we do have some kind of indoor facility that I often see the players training at. I don't know if that was built during the Mike Ashley regime, or if that's also
I think
some
that
like
has been still been there. Yes, I mean that's been there for a long time.
it was that pre Mike Ashley, that indoor
Yeah,
facility.
oh yeah, something like that, all from the
Yeah.
beginning.
It seems like he bought the club, put up his sports director arena signs. That
Yeah,
was it, and then he didn't do anything else.
exactly. He just wanted it to advertise these other companies, and it was just about the money
Yeah,
coming in at the end of the season. That's what he was all bothered about when he was owning this football club, as well. And he didn't care anything. He didn't care about the fan base. Didn't wanted no ambition at this football club. He just wanted the team to survive by the skin of their teeth,
yeah,
as well. Because majority of him and owning this club, it's been relegation battles one season after another. One probably one season finish, um, and that
that
was under
was
Alan Pardew for the
the
fifth
fifth.
when we
Yeah,
finished fifth this season.
yeah.
But yeah, as I mentioned, the breed relegation battles. We've had two relegations under this manager. Managed to come back up the first time. And it's not just that, really poor managers have been appointed at this football club. We're handing out silly contracts. For example, okay, Pardew goes to a fifth place finish, but it's Alan Pardew, and you don't hand it this
No,
straight 8 year out contract to him. The others, I mean, the thought of successor, assistant John Carver was going to succeed after that. We suffered 8 defeats on the row, and then we're going to appoint a manager after that who couldn't get an England team into a Euro 2008
Steve
tournament,
McLaren.
and
Yeah,
that happened, and that was a relegation. We appointed Rafa too late. Okay, Rafa did keep winning. He managed to keep this club steady and managed to get the players up and performing, but then he had broken promises and he decided enough was enough. He wanted to be out as soon as his contract expired.
yep.
And then we go to play a manager who's pretty much CV lies in the Championship, and his Premier League stats are one of the worst I've seen under Steve Bruce. I think if he was still in charge, I think relegation would have been a certainty because
Oh, 100%,
his
100%.
his tactics are one of the worst. His style of football is terrible. He would set up defensively in a football match. Majority going five at the back. All the players are crammed into their own half. We're not pushing forward, and it was just horrible to
It's
watch.
horrible to watch.
Under this match, and
It's
as soon as
depressing. Yeah,
the owner managers had a look and says, "All right, we'll give you 1,000 game as a Premier League manager," but after that, I just thought enough was enough. We've seen the previous his styles of play happened. His first season, his last season. I don't know how we finished 12th. We should have been down. I thought that season because of the way we were playing. But yeah, new ownership comes in, says, "Why have you 1,000 game? We'll have a look at that." I thought that's enough. It's time to go. And Steve Bruce was relieved of his duties. And they did try give Graham Jones 3 games. He's not a number one. He has tried, but you could tell he's more
yeah.
number
Well, it
two.
didn't go well at Luton. I think that's the only other
No, it
senior
didn't.
management job that he's had where he's been the main man in charge. So, I mean, that tells you all you like, really. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a fantastic number
Yeah, he
two,
is.
and I'm very happy that he stays on under Eddie Howe. I hope he does. But yeah, he was never going to
I
be
think he is still on.
the long term
No.
replacement. No, I think he even knew that himself, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jones come out and said,
Sorry about that. Where were we? We were discussing basically what's happening with Newcastle United. One thing that I thought I'd just ask you about, which I've just seen recently, I've seen actually while my power's out, I still had some data on my phone. But I see Steven Gerrard just pretty much got the Aston Villa job, or he's very close to being the new Aston Villa manager. Is that something that we've lost out on there, or are we still confident Eddie Howe is the right man for us?
the thing is, Eddie Howe's been in the Premier League, managed in the Premier League, but Steven Gerrard hasn't yet. But I'm definitely gonna give Eddie Howe a chance here. I think he did very well with the Bournemouth side, taken up from League Two all the way to Premier League, kept them in the Premier League for 5 seasons. His season for last season, all right, did go according to plan, but I think his team was rocked with injuries hit on that season, and it just didn't really help him at all. But what I do like about Eddie Howe, he likes to go attacking. style with his style of football, which we have not had that under Steve Bruce at all. And you can tell when he comes in straight away, got the players in for training on the international break, which is good. And
For sure.
he
Not
means
not that
business.
many
And
of
what
them get called
he
up
means
for their
business.
countries. Yeah.
Only probably a couple from our side.
Yep.
Not many at all.
So so if Gerard is now gone to Villa, you know, he will, well, I mean, obviously he was no longer in the running. I don't know where he was on sort of the pecking order. I mean, you know, these things come out years later that, you know, we would have spoken to
Mm-hmm.
him or spoken to his management and he didn't want the job. There's always these stories that come out, you know, years on. But
Yeah.
the main names that were linked before Eddie Howe got the job were um, Paulo Fonseca and uh, uh, Emery from Villarreal, former Arsenal manager. And there were another few names banded about. I saw Roberto Martinez was there, obviously Gerard. I saw one point I even saw Thierry Henry. I saw Wayne Rooney. I mean, there were a lot of strange names being banded about, but you know, Eddie Howe didn't seem to be the first choice. I don't know if he was even the second choice. The only definite approach we made for a manager was for Emery, and he obviously turned us down after some consideration. But
Yeah.
who would you have taken? Would you have taken Eddie Howe as your first choice? Because to me, and yeah, I know Eddie Howe is a good coach, but you know, this is the dawn of a new era, and the first appointment you make represents that new era. And I've been on other, you know, football streams, and they've asked me this question. You know, who did you want? I wanted someone like a Ten Hag or something like that, and Edwin van der Sar maybe as the director of football. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Proudy. I was kind of underwhelmed with Eddie Howe's appointment. I
Mm-hmm.
know, you know, some people are not going to agree with that, and you know, he is a fantastic manager. I mean, what he did with Bournemouth, incredible. But was it not just a little bit underwhelming?
No, I wouldn't say it was all underwhelming because you think about it. Yes, well, now one of the richest clubs now in the world, and
The
a lot want
richest
to try
club.
and get a top manager. And you think, oh, they want to try and get a top manager in, but
Mm.
the club are sitting 19th in the table in a really serious relegation battle at the moment of time. So that is going to technically put the top managers off for a while. They're thinking, oh, I don't want relegation on me CV if that was to happen. So I can understand it. In a way, my choice at first I was going to say was Conte, but he's now gone to Spurs. But apparently he didn't want the job as well. Fonseca, I don't know what happened there. That seemed to have quieted down. And of course, Emery wanted to stay at Villarreal. He's won them the Europa League. He's got them
Yep.
in a Champions League football, and he's thinking, "Oh, why should I leave that club where I'm doing a pretty decent job to come all the way to one of the, even though they're one of the richest clubs, but are sitting second bottom in the league table." So you
Is
can kind of
the
understand it in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So I think Eddie Howe was definitely a smart option to get him in the football club, and I can see what he's been doing with the lads, and he's ready to go. I think he's been in business and he's not wasting any time.
Yeah, we've seen some of the videos that have come out. I'm sure you follow the club on social media. You'll see that there's videos of
Yeah.
them in training. There's videos of him, you know, actually doing some sort of tactical training. And I'm sure the players
Yep.
under Steve Bruce have been like, well, what is this? What is this tactical training? He's making
Yeah.
us play 1-2s. He's making
Yeah.
us make third person runs. I mean, I saw just one small clip of him doing a couple of training drills with a few of the forward players where you've got two players passing and a third player
Hmm.
making a diagonal run for the pass that's coming after the play between the two players. And I mean,
Yep.
you know, as a Newcastle fan, I'm looking at that thinking that's genius, but probably looking at, you know, other fans looking at that is like, well, that's how we train every day. So it comes back to what you were saying about, you know, the style of training under Steve Bruce and the lack of tactics and the lack of basically
And
football
I
coaching
think
that was
we
going on.
only and I think under Steve Bruce, I think we were only training about 2 or 3 days a week, which is simply not enough. When I'm pretty sure like Bielsa at Leeds, he gets his players in 5 days a week.
Probably.
Graham Jones got them in 5. As soon as Graham Jones stepped in for interim manager, he got them in 5 days a week as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. So now we've chatted about the management. We've chatted about what the club is going to do going forward in terms of recouping the training ground. I'm sure the stadium probably needs a lick of paint as well. I don't.
Yeah, it
You'd be able
does.
to
Yeah,
tell me. Yeah, for
there's a
sure.
lot of rustiness. We've
I've
had a dead
been.
pigeon somewhere
Oh
in
God.
the Gallagher end, and you're thinking, really?
Really? I mean, oh God, it's disgusting. Yeah, well, look, stadium, training ground, manager, all of that, I'm sure will get sorted out. I'm sure the PIF, that's not football related. That's, you buy an asset, you buy something physical. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do it up. It's like buying a property and you're gonna, live there. You're gonna use the
Yep.
property for something. You're gonna do it up a bit, and then now you've got the right manager in charge. Now it's about players. Well, next it's about players. It's about getting in the right players, and in January. So
Yep.
like some name. I've heard so many names thrown out. I'm not even going to name them because every time you look at a headline, every time you read something online, every time you see something on like Instagram, you see there's a new player linked to us. But firstly, who do you think we will make some kind of statement signing in January? And then also, what do we need? What players do we need? I have
Yep.
opinions on what we need, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yep, I think there will be signings in January. Well, they've got to be because the squad simply underperformed or it's been badly coached by the previous manager. But yeah, we do need some new players in the door because technically it's the same squad from last season as well.
With
Only thing is we got Joe Willock on
yeah,
a permanent deal.
yeah,
Joe Willock on a permanent deal. But yeah, the centre backs need sorted out. I mean, we've conceded so many goals this season. We haven't kept a clean sheet. And that isn't addressing because we look so wide open at the back. The midfield, in the centre midfield has been non-existent. At times, we've got Shelby. I think is pretty much time's done at the football club
yeah,
now.
for sure.
Sean
You made
Longstaff's
that
going to.
comment on
He's going
a
to.
video about Shelby being done at the club, and I completely agree
Yeah.
with you. But yeah, so go on.
Yeah. Sean Longstaff looks like he's gone backwards a little bit, and Joe Willock's confidence looks shot a bit at the moment. So that is another area, and you've got to see up front as well because I think Callum Wilson will don't know how long, but he'll be due another injury soon. And when he's out not playing, we really struggle to score goals. I mean, Joe Linton for me is not a striker. Dwight Gale's more suited there for the championship, and you can't place St Maximan up in that role
For sure.
as well. So you've got to look for a new striker that's either you could either start alongside Wilson or it's going to be our backup for Callum Wilson to help score goals if Callum Wilson is going to pick up another injury
I'd
as
play
well. So
Dylan Stevenson from the under 23s is probably looking to be the next best, or Elliot
Anderson's
probably
possibly
looking to be the next best striker behind Callum Wilson at the club. Because, like you say, yeah, Joe Linton's not a striker. I think he's just.
his holder play
I
has
don't know
been
what he
good,
is, to
but
be honest.
when he
Sometimes.
tries a shot, he struggles to get a shot away, or it's absolutely powered up off in the keeper's
100%. It reminds me of when we had Luke de Jong and he was all marshmallow beats
Yeah, and
back then. Yeah.
he really struggled in the season. He was and there you are.
So, so I asked you, okay, where do we need to strengthen? And you've literally named pretty much every every position.
It's nearly the whole of the
It
squad. I
nearly
mean, the
is.
centre backs are centre midfield up front.
100%. I mean, look, I think Dubravka will come back into goal eventually.
I think he will come back soon.
I think Eddie Howe will, realize, okay, I have to make a change here. Dubravka is clearly the better goalkeeper. I know Darlow did have a good end to the season last season, so fair enough. But Dubravka is still the better goalkeeper. I think it's just
he was given the number one
for a reason.
For a reason after his third season out with the football club because some of the saves he was pulled off were absolutely top draw. So
incredible. Look, I think so. Goalkeeper wise, I don't think there needs to be any signings there. Centre back, I definitely think I agree with you that we need to make a change there. I think we need at least one solid centre back. And I mean, that to me, if you're going to make a marquee signing anywhere, do it at centre back, because I personally believe Jamal Lascelles is only in the team because he's captain.
Yeah,
I
he's not a leader on the
No,
pitch. He's not. He's not when we
100%.
concede. He's not telling to the lads, "Oh, come on, we need to sort our act out." Yeah, he's not doing that.
It's no. I disagree. I think that's what he does do. I think he does well. I mean,
Or
you're
he
in the
doesn't do
stadium.
enough of it.
You're in the stadium. You can see what he does and doesn't do. But from what I see, I think he does do some of that, knowing that he's captain. But I just also think that he holds back because he himself knows that he's not good enough. He also
Yeah,
is too busy
again,
trying to
he hasn't
focus on
been
his
good
own
enough for
game.
quite some time.
Yeah.
Him as well.
Look,
And we've
there
got
was a
Clark,
time.
who
Yeah, go on. I
Clark, I think's losing off his pace. He's getting on a bit.
was gonna say the
I don't know
same.
why Fabian. I don't know why Fabian Scher's getting an opportunity at the moment. He's
I
one of
don't know
our best
either.
centre backs. Same with Fernandez in a way, even though he's going a little bit down as well, because again he's another defender knocking on as well. But Emil Kraft, I don't know why we bought the lad. He's been one of the worst defenders we've had in this football club. He's supposed to be a right back, but we've ended up playing it right centre back when we've got five at the back, and not good. Not play a terrible signing.
So do you have a centre back in mind? I mean, you can
Someone like a Connor Cody or a Tarkowski would be a
amazing,
bad shout.
amazing signings
Yeah,
there.
one of them.
Yeah, completely agree. Connor Cody or James Tarkowski for me would be. I wouldn't say it's a marquee signing, but now,
Yep.
given the amount of money we have, that's an easy signing. That's a signing that you wouldn't. Newcastle's ownership wouldn't really worry too much about. That's just
Mm.
what do they want? How much money do they want for that player when we pay it? I know
Yep.
you got to pay the English premium, so to speak, but it'll just be a straightforward signing, in my opinion. Yeah, when it comes to going forward into midfield, now there's gaps there as well. I agree with you, John Joe Shelby. He's had it. I haven't seen him play a good game in months, and it's sad because he was really one of my favorite players. He was a really unique player, special player for us during the World Cup in Russia. Everyone was saying that John Joe Shelby should have gone to the World Cup. They were calling for him
Mm.
to get back into the squad even after the World Cup. And then he's just constantly just been trending downwards in terms of his
Yeah.
performance. Every time he plays, he seems to just be getting sent off these days as well. So there's a gap there in terms of a creative midfielder. I
Yeah.
think Hayden is fine to support whoever comes in. I think
Yeah.
Sean Longstaff could also maybe be more of a supportive role to another quality central midfielder. But any names that you can think of there that you think would really improve us?
Someone like a Ward Prowse would be a bad option, but again,
Amazing.
he's just signed a new contract at
Well, does that
Southampton. That's the
matter?
thing.
Does
But
it? How
again,
much? How
money
much is the
talks now these days.
contract? How much is the contract? I'll buy
Oh,
it.
I'm not
It doesn't matter.
true. But yeah, someone like him, another decent creative midfielder who can know where to pick a good passer, who can work on set pieces,
Yeah.
as well. So
That
someone
would be
like
a
that.
top one, yeah, for sure. And then up front, obviously, we need someone else to support Callum Wilson. I still think,
Yep.
even with the new regime, Callum Wilson is a top quality striker. But do we now go do something like what Manchester City do? Do we try and pull someone from abroad, or is there someone in the Premier League that you think, that's the signing to make now to give Wilson the support they need?
Yeah, a lot of our family said they were like a player like Raul Jimenez, who's doing a wonders, who's doing absolutely brilliant at Wolves. So
Yeah.
yeah, it could go for a striker who's Premier League, but again, they could be looking at other options from other clubs abroad. So as well, so it's going to be that's a tough one to call.
Is a tough one
But I
to
must say,
call, yeah.
we do need someone as a backup for Callum Wilson massively. We really need to.
100%. Like you say, I mean, most other fans and most of my friends, when I have chats to them about football, they always say Newcastle are Callum Wilson injury away from having a really bad
Oh
run.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't keep him fit for a full season. I mean, he got injured again just after the third game this season after Southampton, and he was out for 6 weeks. Last season, he suffered a hamstring
Yeah.
injury at the beginning of 2021, and he was out for again 6 to 8 weeks. So again,
Would you have? Would you? Yes, okay, but a little bit off topic, but not really. Would you have signed Andy Carroll on for another season?
no, I think his time was coming to an end in terms of Premier League level. You could tell he didn't have the pace that
As
he
a
did
Geordie,
previously, and I think a
yeah.
lot of previous injuries massively caught up with
No,
him
for sure. It
as well.
was he unfortunately, the injuries ruined his career in many ways, but
Yeah,
as I remember watching him when he first burst onto the scene, when we came up from the championship that first season, I remember that's the
yeah,
6-0 against Aston Villa where he scored a hat trick. And I mean, that was when I thought this guy is going to be incredible. It really hurt me when he went to Liverpool, and
yeah, it did. Yeah,
it was so hurtful at the time. And then when he came back, I thought, okay, what type of Andy Carroll are we getting back here? We're getting back the post, the Liverpool Andy Carroll, or are we getting back the damaged goods? And I hoped, I prayed that it would be, the former Andy Carroll, but it just ended up being the latter, which he just
it
wasn't good
did.
enough.
Yeah, and he was
He
signed
didn't
for
look
free.
comfortable. Yeah, yeah.
West Ham got him, decided to release him at his last season there, because he could tell the Premier League he couldn't catch up with the Premier League in terms of
Well,
pace
he
now. He
doesn't
just really
seem
couldn't.
to have caught up with any league. I don't think he's actually signed
No,
for
I
a
think
club set. Yeah.
he's still a free agent at the moment. So
Yeah, I'm trying to sign him on Football Manager for Gateshead. I don't think he wants to join Gateshead with the. Well, I mean, he's going to have no option, I suppose.
no,
So yeah, I think one other thing I wanted to ask you. I'm sure you've been to a lot of the under 23 games. Like this is the first time I'm speaking to a Newcastle fan who's lived in Newcastle like this. So I have a lot of questions. You're really giving me the type of info that I've dying to know about, and
yeah,
every fan who doesn't live there
yeah.
wants to know. Do you go to the under 23 games?
I haven't managed a chance to go to any this season yet so far because it's clashed with I've got other things on as well. Of
For
course,
sure,
last
yeah.
season we could go because of COVID rules and regulations. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
before that, yeah, I did manage to get to some of them games there. They were really enjoyable to go watch to see are these players ready for a step up into first team football,
Hmm.
etc. So
I
yeah,
mean, what do you think about the under 23s? I know we mentioned Dylan Stevenson and Elliot Anderson, but yeah, there's also this new guy that, I mean, I don't even know if he's kicked a ball yet for us, this Santiago Munez, the whole story about the
I've not
goal
seen them
movie.
yet. No, not.
I don't know what's going on there. There's something weird
Hmm.
going on there. He just doesn't seem
It
to
sounds
have.
like as I don't think he's featured yet. No,
But is it because of his fitness? Is it because of a work
don't
permit
know.
issue? I don't know.
It could be one of them things. I'm not entirely too sure.
But
So
is there anyone else in the under 23 setup that you think, this guy could push for a first team position
I think
in the
Elliot
future?
Anderson's with it. I think he's got a
Yeah,
bit of a shouting chance of doing that. Yeah, I've seen.
yeah.
Did play a couple of games in the FA Cup and Arsenal in the Premier League
But
last
is he
season.
not going to
So
end up like, I mean, you know what happened with Adam Armstrong? That's another. Adam Armstrong and
uh,
Ivan Toney are
hopefully not.
hard
Hopefully,
discussion points. But yeah, or he could end up like Adam Campbell, who, funny enough, is playing for Gateshead now.
yes, yes.
Yeah, he could end up like, Tom Allen, who had a few games towards the end of a couple of seasons ago. I don't want that to happen for Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, you can understand that. But hopefully the new owners are going to work in with the academy as well, because that was another thing that was neglected a lot from Mike Ashley as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully, because
Coming back to on that topic and then coming back to Eddie Howe. So it seems like Eddie's going to bring in his own backroom staff. I think that was one of
he has,
the
and
main
we've still
things that
got
he
Graham Jones
wanted.
kept on as well.
And we still got Graham Joe's capped on. I don't know about the other coaching staff like Sam Joyce, Stephen Clemens, Stephen Agnew. I'm
No,
sure
I think they're all
time to
being
go.
relieved of their duties now.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember watching a Newcastle fans TV video where Lee was like, anyone called Steve, let's just get out the club.
Yeah, it's not
um,
worked with any of the Steve
this
Bruce, my way.
even Steve
Steve
Harper,
McLaren
gosh,
just
yeah,
hasn't
Steve.
worked.
It's just Stephen Taylor even had his moments. It's just something about the name Stephen and
Yeah,
just no. Yeah, but I I would probably put Graham Jones in charge of the under 23s and let him, kind of build up there. but I'm not sure who is the under-23 manager. Is it?
Oh, I forgot his name
Yeah,
now.
I've
He
also
used
forgot
to
his
did
name.
manage Sunderland. I know. I'll have to have a look at it again.
Okay, we don't have to
Yeah,
talk
but
about it
yeah.
now. Yeah, actually, that's one thing I wanted to talk about now. And I know we're going a little bit all over here, but that's the nature of this podcast. Trust me, it's a hell of a
Mhm.
job when it comes to editing. Um, what is it really like in terms of the Newcastle Sunderland rivalry? Do you guys really hate each other the way like media
Yeah,
depicts it?
it does get very feisty in
Have
terms
you?
of a game, but we have witnessed that for since 2016 now.
Yeah, I suppose no.
Because of course we went down that season, but then we came back up, but then Sunderland went down, but they've suffered a double
Yeah,
relegation into League
yeah,
One and
yeah.
trying to get themselves out of that division at the moment. So
I must say, watching Sunderland Till I Die was probably one of the best viewing
I heard about it,
experiences
yeah.
I think I've had. But when you meet like if you're working or if you're just, living in the city and you meet a Newcastle fan, or a Newcastle fan meets a Sunderland fan, is it really that hectic between the two of you, or is it kind of like you just kind of get on with your day, or is there really like that animosity that's kind of deep rooted?
Well, of course, there's a lot of banter pages going on social media where they'll like to have a bit of a pop at each other. But yeah, it is what it is in terms of in terms of a derby match. I think some of our fans do miss the derbies. Actually, because you like that build up
Yeah.
to the game, but we haven't had that for such a long time. So
To be honest,
yeah,
I
but
don't
we're
miss
sick of
them.
not beating them as well.
Yeah, I don't miss them considering we didn't win a lot of them. But yeah, have you ever had any issue? Have you ever personally had an issue with a Sunderland fan or anything like that that's come
No, I
out?
haven't. No.
Yeah, so I suppose that's one thing that I think is a bit over embellished. I'm pretty sure people learn to live together and learn to be in harmony. It's just football at the end of the day, but you have your rivalries, and that's about it, I guess. So, thoughts ahead of the international break is going to come and go, and then we've got Brentford at home. What are your thoughts ahead of
Mhm.
the game?
I think when we take on Brentford to James's Park in just under a couple of weeks, I think the atmosphere will be rocking. The fans will be welcoming Eddie Howe
Can't wait.
out on the touchline. I think they'll really get right behind them. They'll get behind the side as well. And I'm really looking forward to the game when we take on Brentford. It's a shame if the game's not any sooner because I would love to have been there
Would have been
this
amazing. Yeah.
weekend. But yeah, but unfortunately, we've got international break, which is so boring.
It's so
Really,
boring.
really
I
is.
had another mate that I did another stream with, and we spoke about international football. And it's actually, we feel it's kind of detrimental to the league, to be honest, the way it's currently
Yeah.
structured. But yeah, that's a whole other discussion. But are you going to be at the game?
The Brentford game, yes, I'll be there.
So what's like a typical match day then? What can you expect on a match day? Now it's
Oh,
Brentford. What do you
cracking
what do you expect?
atmosphere. You're meeting up with your pals or whoever you go to the game with, or you could be your family as well. You like to go to the pub for a drink or something like that. You like to hang around the ground before kick off. If you're a vlogger, like a YouTuber, you like to do your match day vlogs. You might like to ask people
Yeah.
how they thought of the game, what they think going into the game, as well. Just simple things like that now. On a match day, it's just the build up. You're looking forward to it on a match day. You've had 5 days of working or whatever you've been doing, and you're just looking forward to that day. I mean, it's been a long time because again, all games were behind closed doors because of COVID. But yeah, we're just looking forward to it to be back. Now, just seeing each other on a match day, so see the team play and,
It's be amazing.
and
This is
just to let it. Oh, it is. Yeah.
quite a random question, but do you have a halftime ritual in terms of, what do you eat, what do you drink? Really in depth chat here, I
Um,
know.
I would say, oh, I wouldn't say I'd really go have a drink or food wise at half time because again, you've only got 50 minutes at half time, but the queues are absolutely massive in there. That is the
I'm
thing.
sure.
So you either
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
go before a game or after a game. That is the thing. But yeah.
Do you do you go to the Nine Bar before or after, or now? I believe it's going to be named
Oh,
Shearer's Bar again. I hope so.
hopefully, I have again. I've stepped foot in there for a while as well. I mean, I think that was closed throughout the whole of the
Yeah,
pandemic
for sure. Yeah.
as well. So yeah, I will get myself back there definitely one time.
That's I'm sure it'll be amazing when you do get to go back, and when things go back to now. I feel like it's a sort of a degree of normal, but when things go back to, actually being normal, it's only recent now that in South Africa we've moved our curfew out. We can actually go out again. So we're also slowly getting back to normal. But one thing that's been
Yeah,
amazing is having football and having the ability to just chat about football. It is very much like therapy. I'm sure you enjoy it when you have your streams on. I believe you stream Friday and Saturday, or when do you go
I've got
live?
I've got one tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I've got my new football show which I started around about a couple of weeks ago. So we're coming up to the third live show of that one, which is a show I wanted to do a live show. I wanted to do regular
Hmm.
as well, just to get more of other people on the channel as well, rather than do a stream just a one off.
Yeah,
And I think that's starting to work out a lot more better as well. Just have
yeah. Well,
a
that's
lot of
good.
these subscribers or
Yeah, I hope, I wish you all the best for that. And if ever you want to,
very much.
if ever you want a South African opinion on it, or just a general Newcastle fans opinion, I don't know why I
Mm-hmm.
keep saying it as if there's any difference, but yeah, I'm more than happy to jump on. Um,
Yeah.
the way I tend to end these streams, or whatever you want to call it, these chats with people, um, is I like to do a little bit of fantasy booking. I have a little table going. I have a little graph
Mm.
going, or a little chart going, in terms of a leaderboard of your best five-a-side team. I started it when I did a stream with another mate of mine that I used to play five-a-side football with, and we thought it would be something quite cool to do. And I've done it with other guests since, where I've asked them to give me their best five-a-side team. So yeah, I think I'll
Mm-hmm.
ask you the same thing. It doesn't have to be Newcastle players, doesn't have to be any
Oh,
particular generation, doesn't have to be. It can be from any generation. As long as they're a professional footballer at some time, you can have them in your five-a-side team.
even past players as well.
Past players, anything you want.
Oh
But
wow.
because you're a Newcastle fan, and I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and I've enjoyed this stream. Um, I want you to please give me a Newcastle five, and then
Wow. God.
an all around five. You can't pick Shearer in both.
Oh, I can't pick Shearer.
No, I'm joking. You can. If you want Shearer in both, I'll
Oh,
allow it. I'll allow it.
I think I'll have Shearer one. I've got to have I'll have Shearer one in there. Goalkeeper wise, I think I'll go with Buffon. I think he's been one of the best in the world.
Decent
As well,
choice.
defense wise, so this is tough. So I think defense, I would go with Maldini would be a good option.
Maldini's a top
Uh,
pick. This is five-a-side though, Proudy. Is Maldini
mhm.
suited to five-a-side football? Got to be quick. Got to do a little bit
Oh,
of everything.
yeah, he possibly could be.
Probably.
Yeah. Who else could have you have alongside him is part of that backline? Cannavaro, I think he's another quality defender as well. Think. Oh,
Well, there
I
you've
think
got
as I
you've
mentioned,
got yeah, you've got a goalkeeper. So you've got Buffon. You've got all Italian team so far. You've got Buffon.
Harden.
Yeah,
I think I've got to put Messi in there. Still playing, but one of the best in the world. Still, you've got to say, and I've got to
for
have
sure.
Shearer in there because still top goal scorer of overall of the Premier League, and no one's beaten her yet. Harry Kane's possibly trying to get there, but he's
Oh,
really struggling this season.
I
I
don't
must say,
think he's gonna
really.
do it, eh? I think he doesn't have it up here to do it. I don't think.
Well, I think he just doesn't want to beat Spurs anymore. That is the thing.
That's the thing,
I
and
think he
that's what's
really
gonna cost
wants.
him.
I
Yeah.
think he really wants out of that club now. I think his time. He thinks my time's done there. I need to look for another club.
So let's look at the team then. You got Buffon, Cannavaro, Maldini, Messi, and Shearer. That's a pretty good five-a-side team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the way that I make the rules of this game is my moving rule book here. You can't pick a player that someone else has picked, and unfortunately, someone has picked Messi already. So you're gonna have to pick someone
Oh.
else.
Oh wow. Have they got Ronaldo in there?
No, so you can have Ronaldo.
Oh, I'll go Ronaldo then.
Are we talking CR7 or R9 Ronaldo though?
CR7. Gotta be CR7.
Decent pick. That is a top pick. So that's the sort of world five. And if you had to pick a Newcastle, in fact, you know what? I move away from five-a-side. I'd love to hear your best Newcastle 11 of all time.
All right then.
I've done this a few times as well. I've got some weird picks. Like I loved Olivier Bernard. I love Laurent Robert. Those type of players.
Yeah.
They all made my 11, but I'd be so keen
Yeah.
to see yours.
So mine, I'm going to base it on a 4-4-2 formation. So goalkeeper will be Shea Given.
For sure.
Right back, I'll go Warren Barton. Left back, I'll go with Beresford. The centre backs, I think, would be Albert and Dabizas.
Dabizas. Oh, that's a bit of a shocker. No, I'm joking.
I think
No, I
he was
rated
a,
him.
I think he was a,
I rated him. The thing that has always been the thing for Dabizas with me, I just remember him scoring an own goal, the most graceful diving
he
header I've
has,
ever
but
seen. And he's
and
always in those highlights where you see
true,
Bergkamp
but I
turning
think
him.
he's also popped up with a few goals himself, as well at times. So I'll give him credit for that. He's done against Man United at
Yeah, well,
Sunderland.
that's true. That's
So,
true.
and I think he could be a really solid. I could have went for Woodgate, but I think his injuries were
Yeah.
played a massive
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
in there. I'm certainly not including our current several
No.
defenders
What about
as
like
well.
Colaccini? You wouldn't look past him or
And
look at him?
Colaccini, there was some good times, but I think his last season, he really could see that his time was done at the club.
Yeah, I think
Him
so.
as well, so that was the thing. He midfield two in the centre. I think one of them's got to be Rob Lee, cracking player we had
Yeah,
the
for
season
sure.
under Keegan.
For sure.
And I think the other one, and I think another one I've got to go with, rest in peace, Gary Speed.
Yep. No, for sure. Well, I mean, he was, I believe, a recent inductee into the Newcastle Hall of Fame. So, rest in
Yeah.
peace, and what a legend.
Me wingers, I think one of them's got to be Alberto Solano, which could certainly whip a set piece in. He could certainly
He
take a free goal.
whip a goal in as well. I remember he scored with the outside of his
Yeah,
boot against Everton. It was one of the best goals I've
that
ever
was
seen in a
brilliant.
Newcastle shirt.
Yes.
Best goals.
And I think the other one's got to be David Ginola. I think he was quality on his day. I mean, he certainly had a good right foot on him as
Sure.
well. And some of the crack goals he scored as well were brilliant. I'd be two up front. I think one of them is you've got to go with Les Ferdinand, and you've got to go with Alan Shearer as the other one. So that would be my.
No Craig Bellamy, no Lauren Robert.
Robert, I think's close. Craig Bellamy, I mean, he did well, but I think he had an absolute massive attitude problem.
He
That
sure
was
did.
his problem.
Sure did. But
definitely not Michael Owen. It was just there to
Oh.
pick up a 100-odd grand a week and
that
spend
was
time in the treatment room.
such a disappointment. That transfer window, it looked when we started that transfer when we signed Albert Luque and we signed Michael Owen, it looked like that was possibly one of the best windows we were ever going to have. It ended up being one of the most shocking ever.
Yeah.
We honestly, in spending nothing on Demba Ba, he was double the
No,
player
yeah.
of
Again,
Luque
he's
and
not
Owen.
far from there. He's not far from there as well. But when you had Shearer and Ferdinand play together one season, I think they got about there was not far from 50 goals between the
That was
two of them.
Andy Cole. No
So,
room for Andy Cole in the team.
and again, he's close up there as well.
There's a lot. There's a lot of honorable mentions. There's a lot of honorable mentions. You know, when I gave this, a very similar team to what you put out, but there was a player that whenever I mention him, other Newcastle fans say, "Well, why did you put him in?" No one. He was
Yeah,
barely with us, but for me, he was one of my favorite players I ever saw put on the shirt, and that was Emre. I know he
it's
was a
not a
little bit,
bad.
yeah, he was a little bit naughty with a couple of things after he left the club, but never mind
Mm,
that.
wasn't
Emre
too.
for me was one of he was a star that shone too quickly for me.
Mm, yeah,
But he was a
I
top
mean,
player.
he was. Yeah,
I would also, for me, I also looked at someone like Johan Kabay. I thought he was
goodbye. Good.
incredible.
Yes,
Hudson Ben
good.
Arfa, he made us all get on the
Yeah.
edge of our seats.
Hmm.
And in defense, I think there was for a short period before he jumped ship after we relegated. I thought Habib Bey was a good right back. I thought he
Not.
was
Yeah,
solid.
it
Maybe
wasn't
not
too
better,
bad of a
definitely
run
not
though.
better than Warren Barton, definitely not better than a lot of right backs we've had. But I thought he was on par, if not better than someone like Stephen Carr. But yeah, but thank you. That was awesome to hear your Newcastle 11. That was great. So what I do is I usually put up a little graphic here and I build the team as you say it. So I hope you'll enjoy that when I put that out.
Yeah.
I usually run these things for an hour. We got 5 minutes left. Is anything you want to ask me? Anything you want to ask my audience that I can maybe clip up, or anything you want to put out there for the next five?
Yes. So if you want to check I'll give you my channel if anyone wants to check
Yeah,
it out who's not
sure.
checked it out before.
My
So
mate,
it is.
the Football Challenge has already linked your channel in our chat.
Oh, that's
So yeah,
brilliant. So it's PD Proudlock. I do a lot of Newcastle United content where Tim's of a match preview, match day vlog while I'm at the game. Give me quick thoughts after a game, player ratings, wise reviews, so stuff like that as well. So I've
yeah.
been a couple of odd non-league football matches as well. So if you want to check out, feel free.
Anything new that's coming up? You mentioned you've got a new show coming
Oh yes,
out.
I've
Yeah.
got me. I've got a new show called PD's Football Live Show. So
Mm,
that's normally going to be every Friday, but I've moved that to Thursday because I've got other things on Friday and also the rest of the weekend as well. So yeah,
cool.
again, that's what's coming up this week.
Fantastic. Proudlock, thank you so much for joining me. It was,
Not a problem at all.
when
Thank
I
you very
when I
much.
saw you pop up on my YouTube and I saw you very kindly subscribe to the channel, and I thought, you know what, I remember loving this guy on
Yeah,
Newcastle Fans TV. I love your channel
yeah. I
as
mean,
well.
it's
I
always
hope,
good. It's
yeah,
good to support
support each
all
other,
the
100%.
YouTubers.
Yeah,
It is. That's the
exactly.
main thing in terms of YouTube. It's not a competition. It's not about saying I deserve so many subscribers or who I think or let's see who could get more subscribers between the time. It's not about that.
Nah,
It's about
nah,
supporting each other, doing
100%.
what you do, and putting your content you love to do, pleasing your audience as well, and getting people interacting with collaboration,
100%.
which is a
100%. I loved it. I loved collaborating with you. I hope we can do it again sometime. But yeah, man, I'm gonna cut the stream there. So thank you everyone for
no.
watching. Thank you for those who were in the chat. Thank you for those who joined and watched on the live stream. The full video will be out. I will clip up the little bits that came
Mm.
before this, and I'll create the full stream for you to enjoy. I will clip up some videos out of some of the discussions that Proudy and I have had, and we'll put those as separate videos on the channel. So stay tuned for those and look out for those. So yeah, Proudy, thanks again, man. It was good to chat to you.
Thank you very much. You as well. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And yeah, enjoy. Okay, cool. And that's done.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, man. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, I'm just starting out. This is, something that I've I've just kind of started toying with, just using my phone as a camera, trying to get everything, working. It would be
Yeah,
nice to do a stream where I don't
relatively.
have power issues and things, but thank you for, your
Yeah.
patience and coming on, and I really
Any
appreciate